How he could love me, a sinner condemned, unclean. Sing with me. How marvelous, how wonderful, and my oh my goodness. So here we are, we're waiting. My song shall ever be. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Turning on the Lights. I'm going to check in right now. It's just getting some notifications that the Churchtown Church of God is live. Brian D. Warner is live, and I am. And I want to welcome everybody. There we go, to Turning on the Lights. Let me get this all straightened away. Good morning, Renee. Good morning, Mary and Megan and all kinds of people. We really appreciate you checking in today. Oh, we are going to get into some scripture today. I am fired up. I'm fired up about a lot of things. I know that a lot of you are fired up about a lot of things. It is time to get this crazy out of here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hold on a second. Let me edit this. Instead of live from evil, let me do this. Turning on the lights! Exclamation point. Wednesday morning word! Exclamation point. There we go. And as I always say, feel free to share the live videos. Last night, I was talking with somebody, and they said, I was watching, and then all of a sudden, my friend from Florida was watching, and then my friend, they're all over the place were watching. That's because it went out over their timeline. They thought it was super cool that they could share this together, and that, when it goes out over yours, then your friends get to see it. So good morning, Sharon. Good morning, everybody. And my song shall ever be how marvelous, how wonderful is my Savior's love for me. Wednesday morning word. It has already been a very intense week. It's been an intense couple of weeks for this guy in terms of all things like church and pastor and family and all these things. It's just been, the days have been zipping on by. But I do not ever forsake, there's a couple of things I never forsake. One is time with the Lord. Now, I'm not the type of person that says, well, I'll set aside 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening to do intentional prayer. I try to be intentional throughout the day. Thinking of Him, thanking Him, talking to Him, praying, all of those things. It's not that I pray ceasingly or ceaselessly, right? Which is it? But you know what I mean? I try. I'm asked to. And I don't want to just think of Him in the morning and the evening. I think that that's a great discipline, but there's all kinds of in-between time. So you make time for the Lord. You got to be intentional. You have to be. We read this, and we understand that there are verbs that we do as Christians, right? There are verbs that we do as Christians. We don't just sit in a pew, crack our head open, and, that. And the church is not a provider of spiritual goods and services. Well, I bring my kids, I pay my money, you take care of them, and then you get me into heaven. That's not the way it works. So there are verbs that we do. And it's not for salvation, it's in response to salvation, right? We talked about that. It's the way that we feel as Christians. It's the way that we behave. It's the way that we should want to behave as Christians. So you be intentional about my time with the Lord, praying. Be intentional about, can you put this in there as well? Time in the Word, time with the Lord. Now, I do have an advantage there because we do have I just got a message, that's all. Live stream 3 times a week, all right? I broadcast a live stream 3 times a week. We broadcast our service on Sunday, and I create 5 episodes for the radio station. It's still good news today, 9:30 in the morning on WPFG 91.3 on your FM dial. How about that? I'm a radio guy. That's so cool. And then throughout the course of the week, there are 2 Bible studies, Monday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. And then I'm teaching a course in systematic theology. So that draws me into the Word, right? And then I have all of these crazy readings that I do. I told you I'm into the Septuagint all of a sudden. And I'm reading different stories that I've never read before. So, intentional. You need to be intentional. And we were looking at that in James yesterday. We're going to look a little bit here in Philippians today. Intentionality. Another thing is that, and I don't mean to disrespect or to bring up, but the fact of the matter is, as a married man, my intentionality then goes to my wife. If things are good with the Lord and things are good in my marriage, the other priorities have a tendency to fall in line where they should be. Right? I think that a person's priorities, and I'll say, because I'm a man and I don't have any other perspective, a man's priorities are God and wife. Now you can say right underneath that is your immediate family and your children and so forth. And I would agree with that. I would not disagree with that. But there's simple priorities. Maybe it's because, we're men and it needs to be simple priorities. But I find that no matter how simple they are, all of a sudden, even church or something that you say, well, no, that's really good work. It gets in front of wife or gets in front of God, and everything goes haywire quickly. Now, there are emergency situations, right? And that's why it's such a wonderful thing working with Cal, because we were called together to do this. And so, if it is 4 a.m. and there is a call and and we had plans for breakfast, whatever, that's different, right? And she's like, go, with her blessing and prayers. So there's that difference. You know what I'm talking about, when the work, even as a pastor, begins to replace what the Lord intends for us in healthy human relationships. When that begins to get, and then things get really out of whack. So you guys know what I'm talking about, and we keep those things in line no matter how busy we are, no matter. Like, I know the difference between emergency, gotta go do this, or this is how busy, and nope, that's got to be set aside because the Lord needs to come first, or I ain't good to nobody. And Kelly needs to come second, or I ain't good to nobody, or life gets completely out of order, out of whack. The priorities are upside down, and Satan gets a hold and starts driving me into the ground. And it has happened. It's happened in cycles.